Kawhi Leonard is out of San Antonio, and the bidding war is going to be wild, because whoever gets him will end up with a super team. What's good, Wolves? By now, I'm sure most of you know that Kawhi Leonard has requested a trade to get out of San Antonio. And I'm sure some others know that he has stated his preferred landing spot to be the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, many are speculating that this recent development may allow the Lakers to bring in Kawhi, LeBron, and Paul George all in the same offseason. Talk about a big three. Those guys would immediately make the best trio in the league. And on paper, would definitely be able to challenge Golden State. But unfortunately for him, Kawhi's current contract does not have a no-trade clause, meaning the Spurs can trade him to any team that they want. Furthermore, there have been a slew of reports that have claimed that the Spurs will not trade Kawhi to a Western Conference opponent, especially not the Lakers, who have had a history of bad blood with the Spurs. With that said, I personally don't really buy that. Would the Spurs be happy trading Kawhi to LA? Of course not. So maybe it hurts them a little bit, but the Spurs organization is way too smart. If the Lakers give them the clear-cut best deal, they're taking the offer. So let's look at who can give them the best deal, starting with the Clippers, who were tossed in with the Lakers as a second preferred spot, but that's pretty much where the positives end for them. I saw a report that said, quote, "The Clippers are willing to offer Tobias Harris and a draft pick for Kawhi," which was definitely one of the weirder headlines I've seen in a while. I mean, literally every team in the league should be willing to trade Tobias Harris and a top 15 pick for Kawhi Leonard. So if that's the best they can offer, it's not happening. Maybe if they throw DeAndre Jordan in the mix and put a pick on the table, there could be discussions. But either way, if Kawhi ends up in LA, it's not going to be in a Clippers uniform. Moving on. The Cavs recently just tried to insert themselves into the discussion, but I'm gonna have to kill that now. Sorry, Cavs fans, but there is simply nothing that the team has to offer that could really come close to some of these other bidders. I mean, even if they offered something like Kevin Love and their top 10 pick, the Spurs are really just getting a solid pick and a fringe all-star coming off his worst season ever, who wouldn't fit well with LaMarcus Aldridge at all. That also means, by the way, that LeBron is not coming back. In fact, Kawhi's landing spot, regardless of where he goes, will most likely have a huge impact on where LeBron ends up, especially when it comes to our next few teams, the Lakers, the Sixers, and, of course, the Celtics. All three teams could make very convincing offers for Leonard. So let's start with the early favorite, the Lakers. All of the early trade predictions have centered around sending two of their three young guns, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma, to the Spurs, along with maybe a pick or two. This would definitely be a solid offer for San Antonio, who could try to shift towards a quick rebuild with the young talent. It is also in this scenario that many see LeBron and Paul George potentially joining Kawhi in the City of Angels. But there is actually another spot that could also acquire at least two of the three, and possibly all three of them, and that's Philadelphia. The Sixers, with some maneuvering, would definitely be able to sign LeBron, and maybe even Paul George as well if they were to snag Kawhi. So let's see what they can offer. The most likely package from Philly would include Markelle Fultz, Dario Saric, and Robert Covington, topped off with a first-round pick. Now, while the young Laker trio have far bigger names, Dario Saric and Robert Covington are not actually that far behind. Saric is a skilled all-around contributor at the power forward position, whose career stats up to this point actually beat Brandon Ingram's. And Covington is a top-of-the-line 3-and-D player, and was actually named first-team all-defense this past season. And then there's Fultz, who's a total unknown at this point, but has sky-high potential. Obviously, his current value should not match the young Lakers players involved. But you have to remember that the guy was the unquestioned #1 pick in one of the deepest drafts in recent memory. A very interesting proposal to consider would be if the Sixers decided to straight up trade Ben Simmons for Kawhi. Let's keep it real. this would never happen. But the more I've thought about it, if I were the Sixers GM, I would seriously consider it. Sure, you're giving up one of the best young players in the game. We know this. But you're getting back a top 5 player in Kawhi. And you're significantly increasing your chances to land LeBron. But that's neither here nor there. And I would still give LA a little edge over Philly. But it's just not as extreme as a lot of people might think. The last team, though, in my opinion, has more to offer than both of them. And that's the Boston Celtics. Not only do the Celtics have young talent that can match Philly and LA, they also have established stars that they're willing to trade. In Kyrie, Al Horford, and Gordon Hayward. That's not even mentioning the stash of high future draft picks that they own. In other words, the packages Boston can offer are outrageous. For instance, they could try offering 2 of their 3 established stars, along with a guy like Terry Rozier and/or a draft pick. Or, if they want to focus more on winning now, they could send 2 of their younger guys like Rozier and Jaylen Brown, along with 1 of their established stars. You get the point. The possibilities are endless. And personally, putting the love I have for my Sixers aside, watching a Kawhi-led Celtics team would be incredible. They would easily be a super team of their own, and I think they could 100% challenge the Warriors. Which, let's be honest, is all anybody wants to see at this point. I mean, can it at least be close? It would also pretty much force LeBron to go to either Houston or Philly to even have a legitimate shot to compete for the title. Which would give us 3 super teams to duel it out next year. Now that would be wild. And entertaining. That's all I got for this one, guys. If you're new, think about hitting that subscribe button. Where do you guys think Kawhi will end up? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm out.